What's up, guys? My name's Jomel Socorro,
My name's Jarron Gaddis.
and we are the Wannabe Boo podcast, bringing the latest and greatest game and anime news, reviews, and waifus for lifeu. This is episode 32.
32. There's a. I'm not thinking of 42, but there's some sort of mythical something about the number 32. I forget what it was.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about like the 30-year-old virgin thing, that's like wizard, isn't it? So we've already passed that.
Well, yeah, but like I'm just trying to figure out like I could have sworn that 32 was important for something.
32.
There we go. Here we go. In the Kabbalah, there are 32 Kabbalistic paths of wisdom.
Okay.
I think that's all about Buddhist religion. No.
No?
Kabbalah
Okay.
is different. However, in Buddhism, there's 32 physical characteristics. Wait. Central text, Polycanon, at the thread of the Buddhist tradition, the Digna Nikaya describes the appearance of a historical Buddha with a list of 32 physical characteristics. Oh, and Ganesha has 32 forms. From Hinduism.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Praise be unto Ganesha, which I believe he's the he's God of victory, something like that.
All right. Well, not the direction I was hoping to go at, Jarron, and I don't know how to segue from religion at this point.
Here, I'll help you with that. As some people know, gods in most religions are very naked. You know what else is usually pretty naked? Anime. So we're gonna talk about fan service.
There you go. There's our segue plug.
There you go.
I apologize in advance for all of you Hindu believers or any religious people that we associate fan service with any kind of religion. Praise to Jesus and any other person or any other divine
the gods
being.
Provide fan service. They give you like sunlight and
titties.
And what?
Titties.
Yeah, they give exactly. God put titties on the planet. It gave us fan service.
No, you're right. And actually, isn't breast milk like the elixir of life?
It is the elixir of life. It's what allows young babies to live from their mamas back. Titties, fan service, gods.
Yeah, we're not.
100%.
Okay, we're not, this is not a good starting podcast right now, Jarron. Let's move. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this actual topic here.
Right.
So fan service in general, as most of you know, well, actually, how do you describe fan service like as a definition when it comes to entertainment?
All right. Well, okay. If we go to the Urban Dictionary of
well, there you go. That's how you know that we're scholars. We look up definitions from Urban Dictionary, guys.
Right. No, because like think about it though. Like it's like Urban Dictionary is the dictionary of our modern culture. Think
of
about
the internet.
Of the internet, exactly.
Okay, so like, what is it? Wait, what's the normie dictionary? The Oxford.
Webster
there you
Dictionary?
go. Well, yeah, Webster or Oxford's like Oxford's like the own like dictionary of sorts. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the normie one. Now, like the internet's dictionary is Urban Dictionary. Since it's because I remember Urban Dictionary existing from its birth of the internet, honestly, or at least the early stages of the internet.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it was like what the fuck is a fan sexual anyway. A lot of shit here. I don't know if it was the birth of the internet, but it's definitely been around since like meme culture.
That's true.
And meme culture is like early like. The first one I think was the "Can I Has Cheeseburger" cat.
I don't know what meme that is, honestly. Okay.
You've never seen that one?
Maybe I have seen. I just don't know by name. What is that? Can I Has Cheeseburger?
Yeah, it's like a little cat. You got a little cheeseburger, and the cat's just peeking over your burger, and it's like, "Can I please has cheeseburger?"
Yeah, I've never actually seen this meme used before. At least.
Huh.
Maybe because I was never around during that early part of the internet.
What do you mean? This came out like 2003.
Yeah, I know exactly. I don't have like internet access back in 2003.
Fair enough.
At least not that I can remember.
To be fair, I learned about it from my coding professor
Oh,
in
okay.
when I was at Eastern, because she was she's old as shit, and she was around when the internet was born, and as a coder, as a young one, she knew about it. She knew about the internet culture.
Okay. So we can call her like an oracle of like internet history in a sense.
Sure. I wonder how she's doing. Anyway, fan service as a definition from Urban Dictionary is refers to scenes designated to excite or titillate the viewer.
Now, what does titulate mean?
Titties.
Oh,
It has a word in it, Jomel. Come on.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought there was a deeper meaning or an actual definition behind
I mean,
titulate.
the literal definition of titillate is to excite or to arouse.
Okay. Well, okay. That makes sense now.
Very and by what Urban Dictionary dictates. This is very important, people. So you have to make sure you listen.
Mm-hmm.
As it says, titillate is very well known for its first three letters.
Tit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Did
pretty
you know
simple.
that the internet's filled with degenerates?
When has that never been a situation at all, Jarron?
You're right.
So, as we all know, fan service. I personally believe it's not necessarily a bad thing. Honestly, if anything, it adds a level of characteristic to certain anime.
I mean, it certainly does, especially if that's a whole show.
Yeah, it's true. But if I were to, like, see, I actually came up with a bit of a tier, a kind of a tier, I guess tier triad in a sense, about fan service. So
Alright.
just hear me out. So
Alright.
there's fan service.
Fan service, right?
Sorry, yeah, I can't speak today. There's fan service that is either one, taken super, what is it? Taken super seriously without well, not seriously, but it's taken super seriously where it's obnoxious, but it's not really essential part of the plot. It's sort of just an accessory to the comedic, to either a comedic or even just the style of the show, aka Icon. Yes,
All right,
Icon.
well, so,
It's like an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration because it's like an exaggeration, kind of this. It's sort of out of context of the rest of the whole plot, and it kind of happens because it can.
now hold on. Icon's not a good example. That's not that doesn't mean what you were saying. Icon's whole idea is fucking titillation. That's literally the whole anime.
Is it?
Slash manga. Yes.
I thought it was more of just like a what is it, like a passive thing for the whole show. I've never
No,
again. I've
it's
never.
not passive. The size of those things, it's not passive. That's not fucking passive. You want to talk about passive, but still kind of in your face? You look at like High School of the Dead, because it's literally an accessory. Like without it, you'd still have a really good story, but they threw it in because why the fuck not?
Okay, that's true. Well, actually, coincidentally, that was actually one of the tiers. Actually, I was going to talk about High School of the Dead's fan service is an example of fan service that's optional and doesn't need to be there, but it's there for its own sake in a sense.
Wait, so what's the difference? Well, in your case, what would be the difference between the first and the second one?
Really between like Icon and like
No,
High School
between
of the Dead.
those two.
Oh.
Those two concepts.
Those two concepts. Oh, okay. Well, I also have one more in between that kind of that sort of bridges that.
Okay.
Let me explain that one. The second level, kind of like the middle end of like fan service would be it's integral to the story, and whether it's either minor or major, it's part of the story that helps the story progress in some way, even if it does seem far fetched and or kind of unnatural, quote unquote unnatural in a sense. An example I thought of was the To Love You series, essentially.
I mean, but is that really though? That I feel like that one's more the first one though. No,
Maybe like, well,
the third. Okay, so you have tier of three. The first one you talk about, which is essentially the whole show. You have this one that you're saying, which is wait. Hold
Like,
on, I'm dumb.
are you, I
You blew my mind, Jomel.
did I?
Why? I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Okay.
So the one I fully understand is the one that's optional.
Right.
Where it's there, but without it, you would still have a fully solid show.
Yeah, that's High School of the Dead.
High School of the Dead. So, and then you have a show like Second of Quasar or
To Love Ru.
fucking the Fate series. Where do those fit?
Well,
where the fan service?
Well, honestly, there's not much fan service. There's not much fan service in the Fate series unless you want to talk about like Fate Clyde.
I'm talking about the concept of having to fuck each other for magic.
Oh, that's not fan service. That's just lore at that point.
All right, but but yeah, like you said, it's unnecessary. It's over the top, but the show deems it necessary for it to happen because that's how they want to spin it.
And that's how that's how certain things progress in terms of its story, in terms of its lore. So that's why maybe I mean I don't count, I wouldn't count that as fan service, but in terms of like how this situation fits in, I would say that fits into its second tier, just because of how the rules of their weird ass world work. That's how things have to turn out, especially when it comes to like mana gathering.
That and Second of Quasar, which they're required to drink breast milk in order to power up.
I mean, again, the idea may having that implemented as a convoluted way. Having that implemented may be convoluted, but it's still a way. It's a mechanic that progresses their story, which
does
is
it though?
I want to say it does.
I honestly like because it's so unnecessary, but they deem it necessary. That's the thing.
And exactly, because like let's say this: if you were to take out the fan service itself, would the show itself make any sense without that specific mechanic?
Yes.
With this, with Second Quasar, like if you just took out how else will they gather their what is it, their magic essence, or their abilities?
Half their like whole thing is like like some sort of religion kind of deal, so they could just like, I don't know, pray, or like they could have just these women, specific women, or just women in general have a specific energy that they give off, and if you train it, then you can give off more, and then the people just kind of shut up.
No, exactly. Like this is my spin on it. Like especially with like, again, like High School of the Dead. If you were to take out the whole, like, a lot of the fan service and essentially all of the ecchi kind of like relaxed scenes, the entire series would still play out the same when it comes to how the story progresses. Like, you get a bunch of kids surviving out in a post-apocalyptic world where zombies are essentially the main head of the food chain. That hasn't really gone. That main story hasn't gone away. Where you have something like Second no Quasar, how if you actually were to take it out, then you were to go about the story like you would. Would it make any sense?
I mean,
exactly.
It would still make sense. They would just replace Soma.
No, that's the thing. Well,
something else.
No, that's the thing. What if you didn't replace it? What if you actually just took it out and then just watched it without the context of breast milk? Like I'm saying, like if you actually omit the fan service, how does the story like progress in terms of the story? They could, but then there would be no. The only kind of reference you get would be just dialogue reference. But if you had no idea what the show was about and you were to watch it without any mention of how they get their powers through breast milk, or how without being shown their breast milk process, would you have known?
You mean the fucking first few seconds of the show? You're just throwing in like, here you go, look at this. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, if you were just kind of put into the situation where it's already shit's going down, you already got people doing battling shit, just without seeing even without seeing how they get their abilities, like it's through sucking breast milk. or
All
even
right,
like,
I
or
got
even
you.
like
I got you.
or even like Tolovru, where they're even with Tolovru, if there were no actually or fan service scenes, would the Harem Project make any sense? Well, yeah, the Harem Project doesn't really make any sense as a whole already as it is, but
Exactly.
but in context to how Momo was doing it herself and how she's like kind of like the back burner project of gathering all these girls.
I would argue that yes, without the fan service, you could still have a harem anime. It would just be less of the main character mysterious fucking rewriting the laws of probability and falling into people's fucking underwear.
I don't
It
want.
would just
I
it
wouldn't
would
say
just
rewriting.
literally be
He is the laws of probability.
right, exactly. He just remove that ability. He just have very normal interactions with these girls as they slowly start to fall in love with his main character aspect of being a good person.
So I say, yo,
Yeah. Well, no, because the difference is that um, wait, what is the difference?
I mean,
Would there be a difference? Oh shit!
no. Well,
All right, but Kirito's edgy though.
no, he's not.
Yes, he is. No, he's not.
No,
Actually.
he's not.
He's kind of
After he came out of the game, after even when he's in the game, do you know how much post traumatic stress he's gone through in the game and outside of the game?
yeah, but like when he was like, yeah, I'm a beater, that.
Oh, that wasn't an act he had to pull on just because obviously no one else no one else wanted to like partner up with him, and he was the only he felt like he was the only shot when it came to beating the game since he was one of the beta testers. And if I were to defend him even more at this point, the name beater wasn't even given by him. Well, it wasn't even his idea. It was just sort of a bad rep that everyone else kind of just labeled him as.
True. That is true. But I mean, see, the problem is when if you take a main character of most main characters of a harem ecchi anime, they have, again, we've talked about before the characteristics that make do I want to say shonen? No, not shonen main character, but most male main characters.
Right.
They're nice. They love their friends. And willpower, or either friendship gives me power, willpower gives me power, love gives me power, shit like that. That's the three things, and then whatever little minor quirks that they might have. For example, Kirito is good with computers and shit. Rito from To Love Ru is.
He's just a good guy.
Yeah, I don't think he has much other than just being a good guy.
Pretty much. I mean, he knows how to. He's got his way around with his hands, according to Momo. So there's that.
Yeah. Well,
only when he's asleep though. That's the thing.
All right. So he's great. He's a handsy when he's asleep. All right.
Yeah.
But then, so if you took that out of To Love Ru, took all the fan service out of To Love Ru, it would just be all these girls falling in love with him because he stands up for them or does everything he can for them. He's just a really nice person.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't make for a watchable anime because it would get boring real fast.
Mm-hmm. Like this is taking like slice of life anime to its maybe blandest ever, I guess you'd say, without having any form of, I guess, realism to connect to at that point, because you can't necessarily connect to somebody that walks around with an interdimensional or intergalactical princess and also demon like bounty hunters that go about his everyday.
Yeah.
So.
But it just, I don't know. It feels so weird to me.
What does?
Just to realize that show would literally be nothing without its fan service. I mean,
exactly. That's why I kind of left it in that tier too, because that's sort of like a main component of its show that's sort of required in order for it to maintain its entertainment in a sense.
Right, because all of its comedy, I guess I would say like 95% of it comes from him falling in the titties.
Exactly.
versus like the other 5% where it's just funny situations. But usually those lead to him falling into titties or someone doing that. So I don't know. I guess yeah. Okay, I see. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. And that's the second category that you mentioned.
Yeah, that's like the
middle category.
like the middle category where it's integral to its story and how it's again it's integral to the story and how it makes sense to have it in the show itself.
And then the first category. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, and then the first category is the fucking. Sorry, I'm just trying to stifle a belch right now. Play back for me.
Okay, so we got first tier level fan servers where if the fan server itself is completely optional, and if it were to be taken out, if it were to be taken out, then the whole story would still make sense. It would still have entertainment value without it.
We got that one. And then the second one was as we explained. And the third one is the whole show is just fan service.
Yeah, the whole show is just fan services, and it's just there as a convoluted device that essentially is just over the top, and it exists because of itself. Oh, it exists for the sake of itself. If that makes any sense.
For the sake of having fan service.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Icon.
Because I mean, like when I say Icon as part of that kind of fan service, it's more of just like, it's literally like you were entertained by the fact that someone's ginormous breasts are flapping into the wind, and that's just everyday life for them.
Okay.
So it's there. It's not necessarily integral to its story, but it exists because it's sort of its thing. That's its identity in a sense.
But then I feel like that category is kind of rare because I can't really. Anytime I think of an ecchi anime that might be similar, it just kind of gets pushed to the side because I was thinking like Queen's Blade. Queen's Blade is like one of the most ecchi, like most fan servicey / ecchi anime I've ever seen.
Right. But
it could survive ish. I say ish without the fan service.
Right. Oh, I got one. How about Valkyrie Drive?
All right. Well, that one would fit the one with Seikon or Quasar because it has to happen.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, things wouldn't make sense.
That's true. They just kind of become weapons for no reason.
Right.
Actually,
no. You know what? It'd just be Soul Eater then.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna just say that. It'd just be a very flashy Soul Eater with titties.
Right. Well, it wouldn't. There wouldn't be any titties.
Well, I mean, like character designs and whatnot. Just not.
Oh, okay.
No groping of titties and such. It's just character designs.
So they're just busty, but it's just we don't pay any attention to that.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I'll be honest. Right. I've never seen Queen's Blade, so I'm not sure how that ties in with the with tier if tier 3 was what you're trying to place it in.
I mean, Queen's Blade essentially is like it could be looked at as something like as I guess High School of the Dead in the sense that the fan service is there. It's blatant, but it doesn't need to be.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have any bearing on the story at hand.
Okay. So it's like the story would still make sense even without its fan service.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that would go down there with that one. But then there really aren't many anime that fit that third category.
Well, how about we think about this? Because fan service, in this case, I feel like we're thinking about fan service in terms of its sexual implications. I feel like fan service is kind of much more broad, especially with anime.
I mean, it is, but this is the one most people think of anytime you say fan service.
Oh, that's probably true. Because I mean, if anything, I don't know what else would fit that third category unless we started coming outside of that category and started going towards free, yeah, exactly. Free or maybe I wouldn't say how to kind of receive. I don't know about Joe. How JoJo?
Imagine if you took out all the buff people from JoJo. Would it be the same?
Look at season 5 or
Fair
part
enough.
5. They're not really that buff. It's just flashy at that point.
Yeah, but they're still like super toned,
Oh
and their
yeah,
like
but
muscles
they're not.
rage through their clothes.
Well, yeah, but it's more of like what is it? It's a thinned out kind of like Jet Li kind of thing, where it's not like oh no, kind of like big muscular Indiana Jones motherfucker.
it just, it just makes me think like you're in a sauna. You walk in, there's just a bunch of buff dudes fucking flexing at you. You're like, oh no! As you try to get out, as they
Right.
block the way, constantly flexing at you.
Oh god, bless his soul. Bless that voice actor's soul, by the way.
Oh my god, what happened? Oh yeah.
See, we talked
He
about
did-
this like
he
a
did-
couple of weeks ago.
Yes, he did die.
Bless his soul. One of
Yeah,
a.
he fucking made that magical.
But anyway, yeah, Free is actually a perfectly good example of how as it's sort of just over the top, and it's just there, honestly. Like in this case, literally the muscles are just there, and it's just flat. I mean, plus you have Hero Annie. It's just flashy water animation plus glistening muscles on top of other muscles, on top of men, on top of men.
Right, but right, but like, how does Hold on, I gotta readjust myself because I'm knocking against my back wall there. But I mean, you could still take it out and it just be them swimming. You don't have to like get super like imagine.
I don't know.
like-
Could you?
Yeah, but like, cause think about it. If they had the super generic like background character bodies,
Like just flat? Like honestly,
they're
just like
kind of
no tone, flat.
tone just flat, and it was just that. But they refocus all that onto the water.
Maybe one expensive ass aquarium anime. They'll be to be honest. I don't think it would last just because of the water. I wouldn't watch the anime just for the water. Like I've watched Free. I did see the first season of Free. Judge me if you will, but
I am.
without the muscular men fan service plus the slightly guy on guy undertones, then it honestly it honestly would be a pretty boring swimming anime without its over the topness, because the way I see it, Free, like, you know how like a lot of sports animes in general kind of need an over the top like implementation to its sport for it to be interesting, like Haikyuu, for example, the volleyball one. It's their like overanalyzation of like of the plays and slow motion frames and like all those volleyball shots. Kuroko no Basket, you have each person has like a special ability when it comes to basketball skills, and how each one is labeled a different like a title with their basketball skill.
I do want to hit that real quick though.
Oh, are you familiar? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
I now I haven't watched Kuroko no Basket, but I've seen clips, and like I don't know how to process like what I see. Like it's so fucking off the wall. They make because you like, all right, I'm watching basketball. This is basketball. They're playing basketball as they're fucking shooting blasts with the ball, fucking throwing it like just all these speed lines and shit. You're like, what is happening?
Exactly. Like one of them was titled like the ghost because you don't sense his presence because he's so like quiet, and then he'll just like come out of nowhere to like for a pass.
Right? Like what? What is that even? What am I even watching?
Exactly. So in a way, Free's fan service. You know how each character is like they're specialized in like a certain swimming style.
Yeah.
Now that reflects on their body type, honestly, because I forget all the names, but like the one that does what is it? The I think I think it's a backstroke. He is, I think. I'm probably gonna get chewed out by so many Free fans, but I know one of them having one of them is the very tall one has like the broadest back, and I believe he specializes in the backstroke during the competitions. And then one of them, the short dude, the shortest one, he specializes in I think it's the front stroke, because he's smaller, so he can just like kind of just
Wait, the front stroke. What? Describe the hand motion to me.
The front stroke is essentially belly down, and you're swinging your arm forward and the other one forward and around. If I'm describing it to you correctly.
Yeah, I thought that was called the freestyle.
Is that freestyle? I thought freestyle is like you can do anything during that run.
No, you're probably right. I haven't fucking been on a swim team in a long time.
And the character that does do freestyle, he's the more kind of like average looking one. So he kind of has like an average frame. So he essentially just focuses on freestyle when it comes to swimming.
No butterflies.
What?
The butterfly stroke?
No freestyle.
No, I said, does no one do the butterfly stroke?
Oh, maybe someone does do the butterfly. I can't remember.
It's the one where you essentially fucking keep popping out of the water like a goddamn.
Well, I know the butterfly. I know the butterfly stroke. I just don't know if one character specializes in that.
Because, like, Jomel, I don't know if you've ever tried to do the butterfly. That shit's fucking hard.
Oh no, I've tried. I used to be actually good at it until I got fat. So. Because then it's like essentially I'm just a fat mantle whale going if you can imagine that.
No, I certainly imagine it because when I tried to do it, when I tried to become a lifeguard for a summer, you had to do the front stroke and the the butterfly down for a couple laps, and I was perfectly fine on the front stroke, and then I had to switch to fucking the butterfly. I'm like, man, this is this is some shit right here. I maybe got like, I think I had 2 more laps before I just fucking gave out because I had no idea how to fucking do it the right way. So I just ran out of energy real fast.
Okay. Well, but going back to it, yeah. So I sort of got a good idea. I sort of got everybody right, because like the tall one that has like the broadest back, his specialization is the backstroke and all that. I'm looking at the wiki right now. But going further than just free. That's sort of how I intended how fan service in this case. It's integral with it, but it has to be there. Like it's there. Without it, it'd just be bland. It would be just be kind of just. It wouldn't make any sense, honestly.
Right. But that's also saying that we're comparing Free to
an
titties? Anime like Seikon no Quasar, because we're saying that they're the same thing.
Okay, so
I mean, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's not.
I mean, at least I don't think it's a bad thing.
I mean,
hey, Free's a good anime.
I think it's a bad thing, but other people might think it's a bad thing.
What, comparing Free to Seikon no Quasar?
Yeah.
Maybe. If people know what both animes are.
I mean,
probably.
They might. I mean, most people know what Free is. Oh, okay, I can't say most people. Most what would you call us? Like, we're not We're definitely not normers. We're not casuals.
Mm-hmm.
What would you call? Does it just go straight into otaku?
I'm not sure. I'm not following here for a second.
So, like, because this is getting way off the fucking the fan service topic, but just real quick, like, how do you why can't I say it? Categorize us. There we go. Categorize us.
What, us?
Yeah, for like just anime viewers. So like you got your normies that don't necessarily watch anime or maybe have seen 1 or 2 or whatever. And you have casuals who watch usually the mainstream kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe dabble a little bit in seasonal. And then there's a block of I'm not sure what to call it, and then there's otaku. And then there's weeaboo.
I feel like weeaboo is only what is it? It's specialized only for the West in general. So
I mean, it is. I mean, I'm not.
okay, think about it this. Think about it like this. Quick sidestep. I honestly think there are three kind of tiers. Like the first two are what you said. You got the normies, you got the casuals, but a third, I believe, is essentially just veterans. Now, veterans itself could have the subset of subcategories that they don't necessarily tier higher or below than each other, but more of just how it associates, how it associates with each other when it comes to its communities. Like for example, I believe like you and I would be considered veterans because of the amount of shows that we've watched and the amount of knowledge that we do have that we can actually provide counsel, provide some recommendations, or even educate some people that are getting into the community.
Right.
I would like to, and so that's why I consider us to be veterans. But in a way, I guess we'd say we're the. I like to believe maybe majority of the community are the good-hearted veterans, the ones that we don't take arguments or shit talking too seriously. We will shit talk, but we're not about to like bash on somebody's life or essentially ruin their life because they don't like our shows or we don't like their shows, kind of thing. We're all in it. We're all in it to just watch as many anime and as much anime as we can because it's either fun or we're just really into the whole like community as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's. And I think that's like majority of the anime community. Then you have like the veterans that are the elitists, whether it's good or bad. But that's its own little subcategory, which are they are self-proclaimed elite when it comes to knowledge, taste, and maybe even like opinions about certain shows or any kind of topic within the anime community.
Right.
And then there are
we discussed beforehand.
exactly. And then there are just the like I guess in this case kind of like the weeaboos or otakus because they're sort of just the east and west versions of that bunch where it's more become where they're veterans but it's more become of a obsessive kind of element in their lives. Whether it's healthy or unhealthy, it's become integral in their lives and it's just a part of how they live and who they are as part of that community.
I got you.
So, I guess I again like I said, I don't place these in the veterans block of all this. I don't necessarily place one or the other above or high. It's more of just a subset, kind of like a pie chart in a sense of like the veteran tag. So it's just split up into like subsets of the same block.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Kind of like that.
Okay. But yeah, so free is Seikon no Quasar.
Yes, more on fan service. Because I can't think of any other anime that I could think of where the fan service is just out of the ordinary, and the anime itself is just its fan service.
Honestly, I don't. It's so weird that it's hard because like people could argue like, oh yeah, High School DxD, but that has a really good story. You
Exactly.
get past the titties. We already mentioned High School of the Dead. Fucking. And one out this season. The How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. That one has a lot of fan service.
But a lot of it's
what?
No. Well, I was gonna say like, isn't it a lot of it? It's kind of a comedic element to it, though.
It was until this most recent episode, which I won't spoil, but it went some places that I guess I should have expected, but I didn't.
Okay.
Considering the direction of the show.
I see.
So it's out there.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we just haven't encountered that type of anime where its fan service is where the fan service is just the anime itself.
But like there has to, because there's so many ecchi anime out there. Fan servicey. All right, so I guess we should make a quick differentiation or clarification. Ecchi is just another word for fan service, correct?
Is it? I thought it was more of just like a
it's
category.
a genre.
It's like a genre of themes, like sexual, like specifically sexual themes.
Oh yeah, but like things like High School DxD is an ecchi,
Yeah.
is considered an ecchi anime. But we're also saying that the titties and shit are fan servicey.
Right.
So, which is it? It's both, or how we categorize it? Or I guess an anime can have fan service and not be an ecchi.
Yeah, because like I said, fan service is a much more broad term when it comes to like anime as a whole. Like
That's
fan service itself can be like cute girls doing cute things, like K-On! For example. It's just the moe blob is essentially a fan service, isn't it? At least to some degree.
No, yeah, you make a good point because I should have clarified, I guess, earlier, but there are multiple forms of fan service, not just physical, bodily,
sexual. Nothing
sexual.
Yeah, it's not just sexual fan service, but I mean, like the term says, it services the fans to whatever they see fancy. So whether it's titties or chiseled men,
or even in the case where, so you know how a battle anime will start getting really fucking like hyped.
Yeah,
I would consider that fan service.
Okay, like just like the hype nature of it.
Yeah, actually, I have a really good example. So, Boku no Hero Academia.
Okay.
It was back in the early days when All Might first fought that what the fuck were they called? The things with the brains.
Oh, the Nomus.
The Nomus. When they fought the first Nomu. In the anime, like before he sent them flying off into fucking space, there was a whole fucking, knocking them around, flipping over them, and doing all that kind of shit.
Right.
That didn't happen in the manga. It was just.
Oh really?
They punch each other a lot, and then he fucking sent them to the moon.
So it wasn't as like climactic as the anime.
Right.
Okay.
So I would consider that. So that would be a consideration for fan service, or just generally when they overdraw like just shit like that, where it's just like, all right, so obviously he's about to finish him off. Let's just fucking throw him through the loop real quick before we're done. That would be considered fan service, I suppose.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I think that actually is a really good example of that, just because they did an extra step in order to appease the anime viewers.
Right.
Okay. Actually, another good example I could possibly think of is the entire second season of Fate Clyde, Elia.
Wow.
Because, like I mentioned before, there's out of all the 3 seasons of Fate Clyde, the first season touched base on how the world works, how the story kind of places itself in the Nasuverse in this case, and how the rules of servants and the magical girl thing worked. The second season was entirely just one giant summer episode, where it's just cute girls doing cute things during the summer, whether it's going to the beach, having the birthday party, or even writing BL.
No, Jomel.
What?
No.
What?
Cute girls doing cute things is K-On! Fate Clyde is Lollybait.
You know how the world works, Jarron. Fate,
I know exactly how the fucking world works.
Then listen to the world. Follow its rules, or you will be cast away by powerful mages higher than what you're capable of.
They're children, Jomel.
Very capable children. Magic-wise, Jarron. Magic-wise. Do not take me out of context.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, that just sounded so bad out of context.
Yes, exactly. So don't take me out of context. As I was saying, and in the third season of Fate Clyde, that's when the story starts getting more serious and is actually just becoming its dark variant of what Fate and the Nasuverse is all about.
Lord.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because when people that have actually read the manga and also watched the anime, a lot of people were essentially, do as they do, compare the manga to the anime, and people have always said the manga is a lot more better because it kind of sticks to the whole, edginess of Fate and the Nasuverse. Mm-hmm. Rather like the anime, a lot of the anime is kind of like, very flashy and kind of essentially just fan service because of just for the sake of, cute girls being magical girls and all that stuff, but with like
Right.
death as part of the whole deal. So
Right. But I mean,
like it's an
still
extra
children though.
it's an extra added step, like you said, with the whole no move versus All Might, and essentially services the viewers or its fans.
I mean, yeah, but it's. I always think it's interesting how a lot of people don't think of it like that.
Like, just what do you mean?
Well, it's because again, when I mentioned earlier how most people when they think of the word fan service, they immediately go to the sexual bit.
That's true. I mean, that's like the first. Yeah, that's like the first thing they do think of.
And to be honest, I mean, granted, there are a lot of like sexy oriented kind of edgy anime, I should say, um, that have fan service. Um, you could almost argue that the majority of fan service is made up of like the other bits that aren't sexual.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, I don't know. What would be the most? Would it be the fighting aspect, the cute aspect?
I don't know.
That takes up the majority of that.
Not really sure, but I think there's a better question to ask though. Like, is there such thing as a well, maybe we already answered this question, but like, do you think fan service has its place in anime, given that there's so many types, like you just said?
Well, yeah, I mean, because
Like how much is too much fan service, and when is it never near, or when is it always appropriate to even have it?
all right. Well, if you, I guess we have to break it down into again the sexual parts, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, everything else is like people can deal with. Moe stuff, people kind of get oh, it's just moe, blah 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 blah. And so I get that certain animes do. I guess you could apply the same category with the moe without like so. If an anime had a bunch of moe-ness in it, would it be as good without it? So like if we looked at K-On, if the girls weren't cute, would it still be a fun anime to watch? I guess that's not a good thing to say. Is it like if they didn't play up the cuteness, would it still be a fun anime to watch? Or like would if let's say if your shitty ass show what the fuck is it called? I don't remember. Not the Idol Masters.
Excuse me? You mean Love Live?
Yeah, that one.
Excuse me.
That trash.
I have to interject here. Fuck you, Jarron. Love Live for life. Hashtag Love Live.
Fucking.
Hashtag team Hanako.
Yeah, no. False. Gross.
Hey, she likes rice.
Oh! She
What?
likes rice. Wow.
Yeah.
Character trait, rice, my favorite.
No, for real. Like her character trait is obsession with rice.
Okay.
Like, it's cute.
Right.
Come on, Jarron. It's cute girls doing cute things. And
I understand that. But
and she wears glasses.
Oh my god, glasses.
Let me insert
Megane,
myself.
Megane.
Excuse me. Insert tilt adjusting my glasses while a shiny bit shimmers into the sky.
Yeah. The Megane shine.
There you go. Yeah. Hashtag Megane shine. Shing. Oh god, that was cringy.
Yeah. What?
Fucking hell.
But I was saying, so imagine if all the girls were just like, I don't know, just not cute.
Is that a thing? Can that even be a thing?
How would I say that?
Okay, Jordan JoJo. How about that? Or Fist of the North Star. I don't know. Very.
Jomel, you might have just stepped on a fucking landmine. It's gonna happen. I mean,
a landmine or a gold mine?
Both. It's just fucking. The shrapnel is gold. my god, I'm not ready for that. I'm not fucking ready for just buff dudes doing fucking like I don't know if you've ever seen there's a specific scene from like one of the Yakuza games where it's just like all these fucking Yakuza tough beefy dudes fucking in like disco outfits rollerblading with like rainbow light and pink and just shit everywhere as they just sing.
Oh god.
Like I just imagine it's gonna be that the whole time. Oh my god.
Oh my wa mo love live.
That would be fucking gorgeous.
And they just breaking the song.
All right, so I obviously we just proved that it could work without the fan service, without the moe.
There we go. It'd be a whole different kind of beast, honestly, at that point.
Yeah.
I think it'd be beautiful.
That would be fucking hilarious, dude. Like
remake like a bunch of moe anime into like JoJo or Fist of the North Star, just buff, very like hard and crisp lines, but keep the same story and the same and the same character types, just drawn differently.
Yeah, that'd be the shit. You don't know how popular that would be. It would be amazing. It reminds me of an anime that came out this season. I do need to watch. The one where the Yakuza guys got a sex change. To be idols.
Yeah. I can't remember
That's
his name.
out this season. I don't remember what it's called.
Actually, wouldn't another good example be like Powerpuff Girls? When what is it? That one episode when there's these three guys that imposed as the Powerpuff Girls by making shitty cosplay of themselves.
Yes. Yes. More of that.
There you go. You got buff dudes in like fucking colorful as wigs while wearing mini skirts.
But then, going back to the topic at hand. But yeah, so I guess, in terms of whether you can have good or bad, there are levels of something, you can't have too much. You can always have too much of something,
Right.
I mean, in my case, I don't think you can ever have too many titties. But for most normal people, you can have too much either. You can either have too much moe, fights could be dragged out for too long, looking at you, Dragon Ball Z. You can have, or you can have too much, like, etchiness. You can have it. Now, here's the thing, though. If you go into an anime, let's say you're watching High School DxD, right?
Right.
You watch the opening. You see, not before you even watch the opening. You see the fucking title, not screen, but like the promotional title cover or whatever it is.
Like the poster of it, like it's the
poster of it,
right?
And let's say you have access to some genre tags. You see ecchi, right?
Right.
Harem, comedy, action, blah blah blah, whatever. And you go into it and you start watching it, and your first impression is there's too much ecchi. And I'm like, you're in the wrong place, friend.
Well, what if you don't know? What if you don't know the terminology? Like, again, my one coworker watched High School of the Dead, not knowing what the word ecchi meant.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, you can't forgive someone for their ignorance, but you can't like give them a pass for. I guess you can't. It's how I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like, all right, yes, you didn't know, but like, you gotta be careful. If you want to watch something, then you have to make sure it's of the tags that you're looking for.
Right. Well, if anything, I think I can expand on what you're trying to say, Jarron. Whereas, like, if you go into it and you see, the first couple of episodes, like, there's a lot of titties here. Now if you choose to keep going and still complain, that's sort of on you at that point.
Right.
But if you were to stop, then that's all good, because obviously maybe it's not your thing, and maybe it's too much for you, which is understandable, and you can just drop the show like most people do. But if you kept going and just criticize, if your criticism is because it's too much titties for you, that's sort of on you because you kind of kept going knowing what this road would take you towards.
It'd be like watching a porno and complaining about how there's too much sex.
Exactly.
But there's another side of that too, though.
How so?
So if you're watching an anime that doesn't have a lot of fan service and out of nowhere there's a ton of it, then do you have the right to? I feel like you gain a little bit of a right to complain at that point.
True. What are we referring to?
So for example, Fairy Tail.
Okay.
Fairy Tail does have its characters that are pretty busty, and they have some kind of sexual situations. Sometimes the majority of its like comedy content is just usually based around Natsu being stupid or
right.
someone being stupid or something stupid happened.
Okay.
Very little of it is sexual, or at least at the beginning. Later on, I feel like they kind of ran out of, all right, well, we don't know what else we were going to do, so just throw in more titties, more nudity, more all that. And that's effectively what it just became. Anytime they had to do something funny that didn't involve either the cat, that it didn't involve the cats, it was something sexual. So I kind of I don't want to say shame Fairy Tail for it, because don't get me wrong, I love me some fan service, but like,
you gotta call them out on it.
You gotta call them out on it, like when you obviously run out of ideas.
Right.
Another one of my favorite animes that did that is called Sket Dance. No, it's a sister anime to Gintama, which is ending soon, by the way, for those that didn't watch my Thirsty Thursday video. It originally was like, oh, we have a shit ton of different kinds of brands of comedy, none of them sexual. And then later on, it's like, all right, shit, we ran out of ideas, make them sexual. But that's just what do you think about that? How is it fair to call them out?
Putting it like that, yeah, I think so. I honestly do think if you're invested into a show or into a series, because it's obviously has its own style of comedy and its own style of delivering dialogue or character development, and then all of a sudden you kind of throw a curveball into its comedy, and you don't like it. I feel like you do have the right to call them out on it, and then just complain as you go, I guess. Especially if you're that invested, especially with a show like Fairy Tail, how it's like the long series, and you can't necessarily just drop it because you've been there since the beginning. So I do think in context of this, fan service has its place, but only when it's like well established from the get go, rather than like thrown in as an excuse for a story element or even a story mechanic. So I think that's the lesson here. Go on.
Yeah, it essentially is. I mean, I did have one that kind of bothered me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me double check that its title isn't that it doesn't have the genre for ecchi. Okay, never mind, it does. That point's moot. Never mind.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say Seven Deadly Sins, but that it has an ecchi title. I mean, again, I love fucking everything about Seven Deadly Sins, including the ecchi.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at it from an outside view, actually, no, I've heard people talk about how it just has too much of it, and I'm like, yeah, but it's an ecchi. Now that I saw that it has the tag.
Actually, no, funny thing. My mother actually kind of watched the first episode of Seven Deadly Sins because she likes anime and all that.
Yeah.
She told me that it was like, how does she say it? It was perverted.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you talk? Like, she told me like, oh, I saw there was an anime on Netflix. I'm like, oh, okay. What's up with it? Oh, it's dirty. It's perverted. I'm like, okay, what anime? And then she pointed me to Seven Deadly Sins. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Again, level of ignorance, but she did drop it because that wasn't really her thing. Good.
Right.
So, but I think that's the main point I kind of want to like touch on, where like the art of fan service itself, it's beautiful when it comes to its establishment in a story, where it's essentially been there since the get go, or it's kind of like its identity in a sense. Even like something like Icon, that consistency goes on throughout the entire show, right?
Yep, it sure does.
Whether
The
it's
whole damn manga.
whether it's convoluted or not, that is part of its identity. Even the lower tier ones like High School of the Dead or To Love Ru or Seikon no Quasar, that's all part of an identity. But where fan service starts becoming an issue is if it's put into a show or an anime because it lacks any other creative direction. So they kind of just throw in either fan service, whether it's sexual or whether it's like shameless branding or something. I don't know. I don't know about that last one, but essentially majority of like those last minute throw in fan service bits are usually the kind of sexual comedy kind, where it's just boobs or anything of the ecchi variant.
Well, I mean, my problem with it doesn't come necessarily from that, because again, the very essence of the word fan service is the creators servicing their fans. So it's fine if you have a female character that generally hasn't been in any kind of sexual situation. You throw her in one or two, it's like, all right, yeah, you're just trying to, just giving us a little something. But then when it's like, all right, like you said before, when we fucking run out of shit, we just start throwing it at the viewer. And it's like, all right, I fucking chill out.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the whole thing. Why I kind of like treaded through the second season of Fate Clyde, because like there's nothing going on besides like normal shit. No magic, no battles, no servants. And then until season 3 came along, I was like, oh, finally, we're actually getting somewhere, going interdimensional Fate style now.
So you're saying, if I were to watch Fate Clyde, I should look up the episodes of season 1 that actually have plot and then skip the third season?
You mean skip the second season? You mean?
Yeah, skip to the third season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And the movie as well. Watch the movie, because the movie is the continuation of the third season as well,
Gotcha.
which I have yet to see. So I have to see that still. Because I remember nothing of the second season besides summer, like summer homework, the beach, and
and lolly bending.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it's not, again, I enjoyed it to some degree, but I was in it for the fate part of the series, whereas like death, magic, and servants killing each other.
Right.
So, but so that's what hooked me in the first season, because of like the servant battles. I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty dope. Let's get into this.
That reminds me, I still need to finish Fate Zero.
But we've been going on for a bit. God for
before we end, I did remember an anime that had that its whole point is just fan service.
Oh, all right, enlighten me, enlighten us.
What is it? Fucking Senran Kagura.
Is it that fighting one? Oh no, that's the ninja one, right?
That's the ninja one. The whole series is based like their entire fucking platform is titties.
Is it?
And then everything else is secondary.
Oh my god, I haven't seen this show. I think I know what you're talking about, but I've never actually watched it. That's the thing.
But you've seen the games like Senran Kagura, Peach Beach Splash, Senran Kagura, fucking.
Oh no, I've never seen the games. Like,
what?
Explain. No, I've only known about the anime. I didn't know they had games.
All right, so Peach Beach Splash is essentially, it looks honestly, it looks kind of cool mechanically.
Right.
It's like a whole like third person shooter battle arena kind of style.
Right.
But Peach Beach Splash, it's them with water guns and bikinis shooting each other's clothes off.
Oh my god. No, yeah, I think that might be it, Jarron. That might be one of them. Wait, you know what? I think I just might have figured out another one.
What?
Keijo.
Yeah. You're right. You're fucking right. But like it wasn't. That one's a weird one though. That should have its own category, because while it fits like every single category.
That's true. Well, does it?
It can't exist without it.
True.
But if it didn't have it, it would just be an intense sport battle.
Yeah.
And then the whole point is the
mechanics,
the titties and the booty. Right, exactly.
With the point they have like magical powers.
To the point, yeah, right.
I think that might have been like the trinity of all three of fan service tiers.
And people hate Keijo, and it got canceled. Shame.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Keijo's canceled. I shouldn't say has been or is canceled. It was canceled some time ago because its manga got discontinued.
Wait, but was that the reason why? Because of its like unpopularity?
Yes, it wasn't very popular.
Really?
Which is why I'm shaming the anime community because that was a beautiful anime.
I don't know. Maybe people take it too seriously.
You can't, but that's the thing. You can. You're allowed to because it's so you get bombarded by the all right. They're fucking slapping the shit out of each other with their tits in their ass, but then you get past that and it's like, oh shit, she's fucking charging up the titty blast. Actually, never mind. You can't take it seriously.
Oh my god, she's opening up the gate of Bootylan. This immense power. What is this? Those cheeks are steel.
Legit couldn't fucking handle that.
You know what, Jarron? I think Keijo was too ahead of our time. So yeah. That's probably why.
Right, it's just too fucking powerful.
Exactly. So maybe in the next life or the next future, Keijo will be fully accepted into our community.
Right. I fucking hope so. I really need it to be. Because
in the few hearts such as ours, we accept Keijo as what it is. A so serious battle anime that uses booty and boobs.
I actually I am bold to say it's essentially the female variant of JoJo.
Is it?
Think about it.
Probably either that or like the most shonen show would be like shonen show like Dragon Ball. You know, like the female variant of a shonen show.
Well, I guess the female. I shouldn't just say female version because then blah blah blah. The female ecchi version of said thing. But yeah,
I think I agree.
We were in there.
But yeah, we've been going on for a bit, guys. What do you guys think of fan service? Do you like fan service? Do you not? Why? For either of those questions, you can hit us up on the Twitter and either fight Jarron or fight me or just talk about it. We prefer to that, unless Jarron's always up for an argument as usual.
Yep. And I will win.
But as always, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And actually, I just checked Jarron as of this recording, we are actually past 600 total downloads for the podcast. Boy. So, I was just surprised about that. And I don't want to have to squat for 600 seconds now, but I'm gonna have to figure something out for that. Maybe I'm gonna wait till 1,000 because I can't keep doing this for every 100. I'm gonna end up.
Give yourself beat your meat 600 times.
I'm gonna die, Jarron.
Not like come 600 times, but
up,
I
see.
Down, up, one.
I see. So okay.
Or up, down, one, whatever your technique. Twist. But I don't know what you do.
Okay, maybe I'll keep it in the log, for record purposes. But as always, guys, again, thank you for downloading. Like 600 today and another 600 more tomorrow. You guys have been great.
Sorry.
No, go on.
And make sure you find us on our social medias. We're still in the process of trying to get us a Instagram going. That'll mostly be filled with anime pictures and shit that we do at cons, or at least mostly Jomel does at cons until I get enough money to go to cons.
Right. I'll be posting VR pics. You know what I'm talking about, right, Jarron? I'm posting some like VR waifu pics on there as well.
Yeah. I've seen that, and I'm disappointed in you.
Hey, fuck you.
Make sure you follow us on. Is it follow on Twitter? Make sure you like us on Facebook. That is Wannabeaboo.
Wannabeaboo Cast.
Wannabeaboo Cast on Facebook. Link will be in the description. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Tweet at us. We'll tweet at you. We'll tweet you back. We'll start being a lot more active on the Twitter.
Yep, we are at Wannabeaboo. So that's WANNABEABOO, which is a lot to say, but all the links will be down below.
It'll be in the link. And you can listen to us on YouTube, which you're probably listening to now. But you can also find us on iTunes, which is the happening place for podcasts. Or you can find us on Stitcher, Pickup Notes.
Listen notes.
No shit. Why do I keep saying Pickup Notes?
You should probably like write it down somewhere and just stick it there.
Write it down. I'm just gonna fucking get a big Word document that just says fucking listen notes. Where was I? iHeartRadio, Google Play, the Stitcher app, and really any other place that hosts podcasts or RSS feeds.
And as always, guys, my name's Jomel Socorro.
My name's Jarron Gaddis.
And we are the Wannabe Boo Podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest game and anime news, reviews, and waifus for lifeu.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you next time.